German system of government. With proportional representation, what was known as Weimar Germany, which was the Germany before Hitler, always had coalition governments. Groups of parties had to join together, often they disagreed, and it made effective government impossible. In Germany, they had an overall president who did have the power to override the government, and the chancellor was like our prime minister today. Now, the president had something called Article 48, and what this allowed him to do was to control the government himself if he wanted to, make laws, didn't have to kind of ask anybody, he could just do it by decree. Could be dangerous if he misused this, but Hindenburg, who was the guy who is in charge at the time, was a well-respected war hero, so when he did do it, people thought he was just the right sort of person to get them out of the problems they were in. Between March 1930 and May 32, the German Chancellor, like our Prime Minister working with Hindenburg, was this man, a guy called Heinrich Brüning. But he was really poor when it came to economics. He raised taxes, cut the level of unemployment benefit, and reduced the salaries of employees. In other words, people were worse off under Brüning. At the same time, though, the Nazis were growing in popularity. Hitler appealed to the German people's nationalism. By that I mean the love for Germany. Hitler spent a lot of time talking about how Germany had been stabbed in the back after World War I, the politicians were cowardly, he blamed the Jews for the financial trouble they were in, and used propaganda to show the Jews as greedy bankers and businessmen having a lovely, enjoyable life while Germans themselves were poor. As Hitler became better known, he decided to fight Hindenburg for the presidency. Now this was going to be tough because Paul von Hindenburg was a German war hero from World War I. But just once again, Goebbels and Hitler used propaganda, very simplistic messages showing Hitler very controlled, very strong, and saying, yes, Führer, we're behind you. This is the message on this one. Hitler loses by 19 million votes to 13 million, but it was an astonishing rise that 13 million people voted for Hitler, even though he was promoting quite anti-Semitic and racist views at times. And although unsuccessful at winning the presidency, this chart here shows how brilliant the Nazis are in the Reichstag, in the parliament. They go from only having 12 seats back in May of 1928 to being by far and away the biggest party in March of 1933. So he might not be able to be president, but he can become chancellor, which is the leader of the biggest party, like our prime minister. And this is how successful the Nazis are at winning elections.